This little self-defense tool is the Budo Brothers Kobo Crusher. For its purpose, this brass strike enhancer is a piece of art. This thing would do serious damage. It has a lot of weight to it. Not only is this an incredibly effective strike enhancer and blunt impact weapon, it is also very aesthetically pleasing. It's quite nice. I will say one thing about weapons like this. I am more likely to be willing to draw this and use it under duress than I would be, say, an edged weapon. Here I'm hitting the pads without the Kobo Crusher and then with the Kobo Crusher, and Keith says there's a noticeable difference in the impact that I'm giving with my right hand. Here I'm doing some hammer fists, and I just destroyed my tie pads, which is okay because these were ones that weren't holding up very well. With commitment, the Kobo Crusher will cause terrible damage. You'll easily break small bones. You'll break the jaw if you hit the jawline. I believe if you wanted to break the collarbones, you could break the collarbones with this. If you wanted to stop someone quickly and could land a good strike onto the jawline, you would definitely have a good effect. A self-defense tool like this does require good pugilistic skills. You need to know how to throw punches. You need to know how to clinch. You need to know how to use this for more than just striking, of course, scraping, pushing, prodding with it. Of course, there is a cool factor to weapons like this, and people will often buy them and not put in the time to train with them. They are not very effective if you do not train. Here, Keith and I are just going back and forth. He's feeding me, I'm playing. We're just experimenting and having fun. This is very cooperative, and we're being very careful because an accidental bump with the Kobo Crusher on the forearm or the knuckles gives some pretty good feedback. A hard hit on smaller bones will crush that bone to dust. This thing is a heavy hitting dulo. The drawback to that is that it's pretty heavy in your pocket as well, which can be annoying with a pocket stick. For the effectiveness, I am quite happy to put up with the little bit of weight. Here, Keith and I are doing a drill from Mati Arnis that was brought to me through Guru Ross Doramal. This is just a 8-count flow drill where Keith is just doing some instinctive blocking and I'm countering it. Drills like this are really good for enhancing your use of your alive hand against somebody defending your weapon. Now we're going into what is commonly known as hubad, but I like to call this cadena de mano because that's what Guru Ross Doramal used to call it. And this also is another fantastic way to develop your alive hand use and developing skills for that close range where you would be using this item. This type of training helps develop skills for countering limb entanglement. Now, all in all, I really like this weapon. A small blunt impact weapon like this is easier to scale your use of force than using a knife, and it is going to be very effective if you train with it. The caveats are get some pugilistic skills, some clenching skills, etc. Now, while I'm hitting the bag with this, I wouldn't use it this way. I just wanted to see if I could get some decent impact with it this way, and I actually could. All in all, I think the Kobo Crusher from Budo Brothers is an excellent piece of self-defense equipment, but it requires a lot of training, as I said, and it won't replace training. You need to have skills to go with this thing, and if you do, you will be able to put it to some very effective use. Be aware that you will have no other excuse for carrying something like this other than it is a self-defense tool. Also, if you are going to use a weapon like this, you better be in the right situation where that is reasonable force, because a hard strike to the skull could very easily be lethal force. So make sure that level of force is warranted to the situation you are in if you are going to use a tool like this. One last consideration as well. If you are going to carry something like this as a primary weapon, you need to be able to access it. If it sits deep in your pocket, you will have a hard time accessing it. In that case, you should use your awareness, and if you see trouble coming, it should be in your hand. However, that potentially can escalate a situation that was not going to be a lethal force situation. I see the Budo Brothers make a Kydex sheath for this, so I might invest in that, especially if I can keep it in my pocket and just have a little bit of the Kobo Crusher sticking out and draw it from the Kydex sheath. For me though, it is a lifestyle. I usually carry multiple tools when I'm out and about, simply because this is the lifestyle I have chosen. Thank you.